Tonight on Salamone, my panel is made up of two of the funniest people I have ever known. Gary Peters and Jane Fischer are here to talk about current events, make fun of headlines and stuff. So let's get to the show.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. We have another great panel for you this week. Joining me tonight are two great comedic minds, smart and thoughtful people, both lovely and talented. Please welcome Jane Fischer and Gary Peters Jr. Jane has been on the show before. I'm grateful that she's offered to drop in with us from time to time. Radio personality, improv guru, and public health advocate. Jane, thanks for doing the show again.
Thank you, Michael.
And Gary Peters is an artist, a musician, an actor, a comedian, all-around creative genius whom I've idolized since meeting him nearly 25 years ago. Thanks for being here, good sir.
It's my pleasure, Mike. My pleasure.
Yay. So lately we've been doing this little rapid-fire game to get our brains and mouths firing. So I'd like to start with that tonight. This is how it works. I'll kind of read a topic and a setup and then ask you to respond to that. And I'll call your name and just give me the first response that comes to you, I guess. But we call it Nanny, Nanny, Na, Na, and there's a theme music for that, too. I just like that theme music because of the baby effect on my voice. But the first topic is President Obama has taken a lot of heat recently for a bunch of things, but first up was giving a speech in a tan suit. He, of course, wasn't the first president to do so, but he may as well have been wearing like a pimp cape or something, according to the Sean Hannitys of the world. So, panel, in memory of the late, great Joan Rivers, play fashion correspondent and describe the most disrespectful outfit you can think of, imagining the president wearing it to the next big press event. So, like, red carpet kind of coverage of the president's new horrendous outfit at a press event. Gary, you got anything?
We have just, we're coming to you live from the Rose Garden, where the president is about to address us. Oh, here he comes now in a bright green banana hammock, and he is fist-bumping the First Lady. I don't know, man. Hey, first of all, I just want to say this, okay?
Yeah, it was brilliant.
Upon further inspection, this was not a tan suit. It was mushroom. I know my colors. That was mushroom.
Jane, do you have a fashion correspondent in you?
I would say maybe Gaga's meat suit, but with meat that was from organic farms because regulations kill America.
America!
Michelle wouldn't let him have anything but grass-fed organic beef.
Exactly.
In related news, it was the latte seen around the world in the worst marketing campaign for Starbucks pumpkin spice ever. President Obama may have been saluting some Marines with his coffee cup when getting off the plane last week. Of course, Fox News treated it like he was toasting the boys with a 40-ounce. But panel, let's try and think of some creative ways that the president could outrage Fox and Friends next, kind of along the same size of the suits, but some kind of disrespectful or interesting non-presidential motion. Jane, we'll let you go first if you've got something.
Perhaps a throwback to the Fonz with the double thumbs, but that's what I'm thinking, and then maybe tells everybody to sit on it.
I wish that
think
phrase
that
would
might
come
not go
back.
over?
Shit on it. I think that's good. Gary, how about you?
I just, I'll go like with old-fashioned raspberry. Gets off Air Force One and just goes. I would like to see the Fox response to that. That'd be good.
Love to see him do that to his critics.
I like the raspberry. Or what was that thing? That thing you used to do on Friends. The thing where where you put your elbows or your forearms together, like, ugh. You need to do that next time. And, like fans will go nuts. They'll love it.
The reunion they'll never get.
He could slide down the railing of the plane.
That thing I'm doing right here, right now on the radio that everyone can see here. That.
I predict the president's going to stick it to his critics by doing something like eating fried chicken with grape soda at the next state dinner. I think they'll love to run with that.
Wow.
Can you imagine right-wing news? How much they would get into that, though?
Yeah, they would love it.
This is kind of White House edition, I guess. Intruders, fence hoppers at the White House, nearly made it into the kitchen. My favorite joke on this was David Letterman, who said, if you really want to protect the perimeter of the White House, surround it with members of Congress, nothing will get past. Panel bonus cool points if you answer in the voice of the attempting burglars, but that's optional. What were they going to do once they were inside the White House? Why were they breaking into the White House? Gary, got anything?
Well, actually, I'm going to go back to an old bit that was called Deep Thoughts. It was on Saturday Night Live years ago. And Jack Handy used to write those, and one of them was, I think the perfect gift for the president would be a chocolate gun. And someone at a public event would have to run up very fast and hand it to him. I think the guy was just bringing him a chocolate gun. That's all it was. Come on.
Sweet and thoughtful. Jane, you got
Sweet and thoughtful.
I believe that the gentleman, it's all a misunderstanding. He found out that the White House cook was making stovetops, so he was staying.
Oh.
Mom's making potatoes.
Exactly.
Stovetops, I'm
staying.
I think you're onto something there. Because I was thinking that after they got stoned, they watched Lee Daniels, the butler, and they had the munchies really bad, and they wanted to break into that kitchen.
That could be.
He might have just needed a bathroom, too. I mean, D.C. is not, it's crowded, and it's hard to get around. He might have just, nature calls.
It's true. There's not a lot of public facilities. Moving on, rock star and son of John and Yoko, Sean Lennon, he's been joking on Twitter that if the president really wants to get the public behind this bombing war on ISIS, he's got to give it a cool marketing name, and he suggested maybe Sparky or Baxter or just Operation Imperialism. So I'm going to ask you for your best operation name. Let's start with Jane. Do you have an idea for a good operation name?
Operation, let's see if this works.
That's kind of what it is. Gary, do you have a good operation name?
I was going for accuracy.
I'm going to go with the Wacky Doctors Game.
Excellent. Everybody loves a good game of Operation.
Operation the Wacky Doctors Game.
Butterfingers.
In honor of...
For $400. Bomb ISIS headquarters for $200. Oh, you'll never do that. Don't touch the side.
In honor of our mutual love for Star Wars that we were talking about before the show started, I guess I would go with, Operation These Are Not the Drones We Have Been Looking Forward to.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Move along.
Finally in this segment, I want to congratulate the Clinton family on their new nanny.
Yay!
Because Chelsea gave Bill and Hillary their first grandchild, who's Charlotte. Because I just can't get past the fact that I think there's got to be a nanny involved in a household like this. Our last one will be, if you were interviewing potential nannies on behalf of the Clintons, either advice to the candidate or a unique resume question or something from the interview process with a potential nanny for the new Clinton baby. I forget who went first last time, but let's start with Gary.
Well, I see you have a very impressive resume. How are you at getting stains out of things?
Ooh. Jane, if you were interviewing for the Clinton nanny.
Too soon? Is it too soon? Sorry.
I will take I believe that Mrs. Clinton will be doing the interviewing. And,
That's probably true.
I believe the first question will be a yes or no question. Do you have testicles? If the question is yes, you're hired. If the question is no, you're not. I believe they're going Manny over Nanny.
Speaking of Manny's and Nannies, thanks for playing our little Nanny Na-Na game. Let's move on to talk about let's talk about boobs on the ground. A Fox News correspondent had issued several apologies this week for using that term, boobs on the ground, to describe a female soldier. And while I believe jokes are fair game on any topic, I just don't personally think that a newscaster should be afforded that privilege on air. So I was a little offended, and I'm a dude. But so I kind of wanted to talk, maybe seriously, maybe not, about, is this a symptom of sexism in our culture, of maybe at Fox News, or just a failed attempt at humor? And speaking of being sexist, let's start with the woman on the panel.
Yeah, start with the woman on the panel. or wait, can we call her the boobs on the panel?
There you go. Yeah, I think it's obviously a symptom of it, and so part one, yeah, and part two, newscasters should not, with the exception of Irv Weinstein, which is a local New York reference, and for those of you who get that, good. If you don't, Google. And I think he's the only one who's allowed to do levity and alliteration. But I don't know. Again, how is it a Tuesday night and I am mentioning testicles twice in less than 5 minutes? So here goes.
It's Testicle Tuesday.
It is Testicle Tuesday. And I just don't recall any other time that a male is mentioned as talking about, he's got the balls for this job. I don't know. It's just Captain Scroat is in the air. I don't hear that. And so if they don't talk about it for men, I guess I just don't understand why you have to talk about it for women. So to me, obviously it's sexist if it's something that happens only specifically because of a gender. So, but honestly, I only half paid attention to it. It was mostly just like I scrolled a headline, because I knew what the rest of the article was going to be, and I just was like, you know what, I got so much else in my life that I'm not going to pay attention to these yahoos, and my eyes might touch the comment section, and that would hurt. And so, yeah, I give them 2 minutes of my time and go and move on.
Excellent.
So there's my answer.
Gary, it's a good answer. Gary, do you have anything you want to add on that topic?
Well, what's great about it too is that the other host had made a joke about her having a problem when she got back from this bombing attack, parking the plane. And I'm just like, wow. Not only is that completely sexist and offensive, it's so dated, man. You gotta get better writers. That's an old Bob Newhart skit, isn't it? The whole driving school thing with. But anyway, yeah.
Straight out of the Honeymooners.
Did you catch his apology the day after that? It was
during the last few. I pulled the Jane and scrolled. He apologized. Oh, he apologized again and just scrolled by.
He apologized. Well, the first apology was I said something stupid yesterday and I went home and my wife was mad at me. That was basically his apology.
Ouch.
So the day after that, he was like, she's a hero. She deserves my respect, and I apologize. So, obviously he got called, and he got his little wiener spanked by the network, probably. Oh, yeah, you said you were going to apologize? Yeah, you need to do a little better job again tomorrow. So I thought you know what? It's weird, though, because it's interesting to watch. It's like a train wreck. It's like a Springer episode or something, but there's such a backlash when stuff like this happens that, yeah, it's wrong. It's totally wrong, that this guy just came out and did that, and he apologized, and that's okay. It's still wrong. What he did wasn't right because he apologized, but at least he had the testicles, Jane, to come out on TV and apologize. But, the weird thing is when these discussions start, you get a lot of crazies from the right
who come to his aid because he's a Fox guy. Not a lot. I mean, some do, right? But then you get super nuts on the super left that start pushing agendas that, like, you know, are like, it's like, yeah, well, women are equal to men and legalize pot, you know. Okay, all right. So you know, it if anything, I guess it starts a dialogue, so that's never a bad thing. But sometimes the dialogue is a little.
Well, that's internet commentary at its finest example right there. Is the extremes kind of controlling the conversation, or at least sticking out. I didn't know he pulled what I'm going to call the Wilma Flintstone defense, though. Of, my wife really gave it to me when I got home. Well, speaking of issues plaguing America, today the internet just went wild because they found an Ebola outbreak in Texas. So WebMD's likely down, crashed from too many visitors as we speak. But it's serious, and this kind of plays on what Gary was just talking about. With serious issues like Ferguson, now 7 weeks in, are people smart or silly to freak out about something like a possible Ebola outbreak? Is this an imperative issue for us? And I'll just let whoever's got something jump right on in.
Well, Jane, you know about the Ebola virus. I'll let you go.
Well, I mean, from the public health standpoint, I mean, you treat it with caution and educate yourself, but yeah, in terms of freaking out, you know, I'm just imagining somebody, you know, standing in the middle of grocery store of choice or fast food restaurant of choice, shoving their face full of Big Macs and puffing on a cigar while down in a 40. And sprinkling pesticide on their lawn when they get home and talking about, I'm in risk of my health. It's I'm not going to go like, you know, all academic and stuff, but it comes down to perceived risks and how people tend to, I mean, communicable disease, people freak out about more than chronic disease because communicable disease, like, oh, somebody's going to make me sick. Chronic disease, I'll make myself sick. I'm not scared of it. And it's, I don't know. I just think that there's probably somebody out there that's like in Boston trying to figure out what this internet bowling site is. Hey, honey, what's the Ebola site? What? I don't know what it is.
Ebola.com. Is that a dating site?
The Ebola baby is adorable.
It's a dating site for people who bowl. Right?
That's right.
Ebola.
I thought they were talking about Ebola Davis's new show, How to Get Away with Murder.
See? And somebody's going to talk about the time that people got sick from Ebola at Jack in the Box.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I don't know. I guess I kind of Googled up statistically, like, using Ferguson for an example, like, do I have a better chance of being shot by a police officer or getting Ebola? And sure, maybe this is the first big outbreak, so it's not a balanced statistic to look up, but trust me, it's more likely I would get shot by a police officer.
That's got to be a pie chart that looks like Pac-Man with his mouth just about closed.
I remember years ago, and boy, in a past position, that one of my tasks one time was talking with some teens about the sexuality. And I had one teen that was absolutely obsessed with talking about the STDs she could catch from a toilet seat and things like that, and was really concerned and wanted to know why there weren't signs and everything along those lines. However, she blew off the fact that, you know, that she wasn't going to get pregnant because her boyfriend drank Mountain Dew. So, again, it comes down to what people perceive as a risk and, you know, what people perceive as a benefit to them. And so some people are terrified of things that are not going to hurt them and just, you know, live their life doing things that will. And, man, people are wacky little creatures, aren't they?
I want to ask about this Mountain Dew because in a different capacity, I talk to teens about sexuality all the time. But what was her belief that the chemicals in Mountain Dew?
That's a Mountain Don't, baby.
There the urban legend of the day back in the day was that
Coke too. I heard this about Coke as well.
Yeah, the Mountain Dew made men sterile. It doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
It do not.
Interesting.
So
you blew my mind with that factoid. I'm sorry, Gary, you were going to say something, and I had to get clarification on that.
Oh no, I was just saying, like, yeah, there's always been, with the information that we have available to us on the internet nowadays, like, if you want to be sick, all you have to do is find a disease online that matches, like, 80% of your symptoms, and then you're like, oh, I've got that. That's what I've got. Restless leg syndrome, or whatever it is.
It's true. Oh, our mutual friend John Johnson posted on Facebook the actual symptoms of Ebola. I should plug that John's on the show next week. And I was reading them. I was reading them through, and I was like, I think I have Ebola.
Exactly.
And I mean, people again should educate themselves and be cautious and things like that. But they should with all sorts of things. I mean, I remember 13 years ago, everybody thought they had SARS, and that SARS was going to wipe out the eastern seaboard. You
remember before there was the internet, though, there was a lot of fear mongering on the nightly news. They'd be ready to go to a commercial break, and they'd be like, "Can soup kill you? Stay tuned to find out."
Exactly.
And then they'd come back from the commercial and be like, "No." But at the same time, everybody wants to have like something wrong with them, I guess, or at least something interesting to put on your Facebook status.
And I was on the commute home. I happened to tune into a regional radio station, hoping to hear traffic updates at to 10s and whatnot. And I had to sit through a little bit of a host who's not known for he doesn't like the left, leaves a little to the right, and back around the corner again. And he was playing part of the press conference, but peppered it at the end with great disbelief and said, I need to remind my listeners that Dallas is close to the border, to which I said, you know what, screw traffic, I'll just risk it. I'm not going to listen to this anymore. I'm going to find some Canadian radio because I'm not going to listen to this. Are you kidding me? So.
Well, that's exactly
true story.
It, Jane. Yeah, well, but that's it. You know how you can go onto the internet and find a disease that fits whatever your symptoms are. Apparently now you can go out onto the internet or the radio and find news which fits the facts that you believe.
Exactly.
Am I calling Fox News a disease? Yes, I think I am.
Oh,
Screw you, Obamacare.
Yeah. I'm just a fan of science and accuracy.
We've only got a few minutes left, so I want to briefly touch on, I met you both in my hometown of Chautauqua Institution, and all over the internet, for even a guy a couple thousand miles away like myself, is about the plans that they're going to tear down the historic amphitheater. And I thought
it's true.
Our little chat. We could wrap up our little chat by just kind of touching on whether you're for it or against it. Gary, why don't you go first on this one?
That's a tricky one, man. Why you got to put me on the spot, man? Why you got to do that?
I know, probably the most controversial issue we've discussed.
Yeah.
Probably the most far-reaching, too. Oh, wait. You know what? It's an old building. You know it's old. It's been there for a long time, and unfortunately, it's just fallen into disrepair. Not in the conventional sense, like it was a ghost town and there were tumbleweeds blowing through there. I mean, it's been used for how old is that place? It's got to be 100 years old at least, isn't it?
Sure.
Mike,
sure.
do you know? Do you have? So
I didn't do the research, but I think you're right.
Well, I'll tell you this: that the institution is building the new thing with private money for that reason, because if they were using other funds, I think people would be able to raise a bigger stink about save our amphitheater. And I don't want to see it go. Obviously not. Change is bad. No, change is never bad. Change is just change. It's the only constant, right? Wait. And
right.
I just think it's outlived its usefulness, unfortunately, and it's charming and beautiful and awesome, and I'd love to see it there 100 years from now, but it might fall down next week if they don't put up a new one, unfortunately.
Well, I mean, I don't have a lot. Gary really sort of said a lot of what I was going to say. I mean, on one hand, it's like, yeah, there's improvements that need to be made, and things can always be improved because I'm not a fan of don't change it because change scares me. But on the other hand, it's like, European structures that have been around for hundreds and hundreds of years, and their buildings and how are they not torn down and still standing? And so I have mixed thoughts, but I trust them that they know what they're doing, and it's not in my daily life. It's not going to affect me, so I'm cool with it. If they want to do it, go.
For the people who don't know about this structure, we're not talking about it like a big stone building or anything. I mean, it's wood. This thing's wood, and it's old wood.
True.
I'm just hoping that when they do put in a new facility, they keep that big old organ in there. You know what I mean?
Well, I would think they have to keep Massey organ, which for listeners from around the country that don't know what to talk with, it's the largest outdoor pipe organ in the
Oh
country,
yeah, that
sure,
organ
maybe
too.
in the world.
I'm sorry, that's what I was talking about.
But hey, you're talking about Woody Starr. Anyhow, for me, I just hope that they keep it an outdoor amphitheater, and that the architects really keep the concept of the original in mind. That's my
I think
concern.
they will.
And I've already got my parents
if they put some big old modern, like, Hanna-Barbera Jetsons looking thing in the middle of there, it just wouldn't fit in. They gotta match the surrounding. I hope it looks just exactly like the old one, but it lasts 100 more years than this one.
Yeah, I trust them.
Amen. Anyhow, that's our show this week. So my thanks to my friends for joining me, Gary Peters and Jane Fischer. I'm so grateful to you both for being with us tonight. I'm Michael Salamone. Please visit michaelsalamone.com and click on podcasts for archives of the show, which are also now available on the great podcasting app Stitcher. I should also note that our iTunes subscription page has changed to accommodate better audio, so subscribers, please resubscribe. I'd appreciate it. Details and everything about that is at michaelsalamone.com, and more important than any of that, please be good to each other. Thanks for tuning in.
Please subscribe to the Salamone Podcast on iTunes or Stitcher, or visit us online at michaelsalamone.com.
Do it.